lovelies, I'm Christina and today I'm giving you my review of Sleeping Beauties by Stephen and Owen King. Now before we get into the review, we're gonna jump back in time and we're gonna unbox this book. Let's go. I just got Sleeping Beauties in the mail. Here it is. Let's jump into it, okay? Super excited about this. Oh, wow. Look at that. Oh, does it? Don't wake them. That is so pretty. And this one, it says, has a featuring limited edition hidden cover illustration. Take a look under the dust jacket. So I think there's 4 different illustrations you can get underneath, but you don't know which one you're gonna get. So let's see which one I got. Oh, that's pretty too. They have moths on the inside cover. Aww. I got the fox. It's a chunker of a book though. I already knew that it was a chunker, but it just blows me away when I get it in my hands like this because I've been reading it on my Kindle. So there you have it, past Christina showing you the unboxing of Sleeping Beauties. Now let's get back to the review. So we're back in present time right now. Here it is, 715 pages long. This is the UK edition, published by Hodder and Stoughton. I will start this off with one of the things that threw me off a bit when I started reading this. You have the beginning right here, all of the info, and then you get a character list. You get a character list that is almost 3.5 pages long. Why? I mean, I've read other books like Under the Dome, The Stand, great, wonderful, epic reads by Stephen King that I really, really love that has a lot of characters. This one had too many, in my opinion. It had so many characters that I didn't get really, really invested in any one of them. The premise of this story is that women all over the world fall asleep and they're wrapped in this cocoon, and if you try to wake them up, they go batshit crazy and try to kill you. And the main events of what's going on in this book is set in a women's prison in dueling. And you can imagine that being the center stage of it all, it's going to be a lot of drama and a lot of unstable characters. We got to know some of the characters more than others, but still, I had a hard time keeping track of all of them. In the beginning, I got so confused by all the characters that I had to jump back and forth in the story and the character list just to keep track of all of them. And because of that, the story just didn't flow as easily as I hoped it would. After a while though, I did manage to get a pretty good overview of all of the characters in the story, but I still really didn't get invested in any except for Evie Black. Like the one woman, the mystical creature that doesn't fall asleep to this disease. She can go to sleep and wake up again, and she can communicate with animals. She's really a mystical creature, and I think she was done really well. I enjoyed the parts that Evie was the center of. The other character that I got a bit invested in was Don Peters, just because he's such a creep. He's such a pervert, and Stephen King always puts some of these characters into a story, and they're just characters that you love to hate. When it comes to the storyline of the book here, you have a novel that's 715 pages long. The storyline in it is set in a very short amount of time. It's about a week. As descriptive as Stephen King's writing often is, and as much as I enjoy the descriptive writing that he does, I think this one could have easily been shortened down. I think they could have even taken away a few of the characters just to make it a little bit shorter. It was just too long, too many characters, too much going on at the same time. This book is so hard to review. There were some really underlined interesting themes in this book. It was very political. There were a lot of themes set around sexism, sexual harassment, about racism, especially when it comes to police brutality against Black people. Trump was mentioned a few times. I feel like they tried to get a very important, very good message out there, wrap it in a fantasy story that had a good premise, and it just faltered a bit. It became too much. And I will say that it was interesting to see a book that was so heavily set on the theme of feminism, and it was written by two men. That was really interesting. I think the premise of the book is really good. I was really hooked by the idea of it. I enjoyed the ride it took me on, but I didn't love it. When I've read and watched other people's review of this, you either love it or you hate it. I am one of the few that falls in between here. It's been 2 days since I finished this, and I still have a hard time actually making up my mind about how I feel about this book. Really enjoyed the writing. I enjoyed that the writing was so fluently done that I couldn't tell the difference between Stephen and Owen. That was really great. The characters that we got to know were well portrayed, and we got a bit of depth to them, but there was just not enough time for each character there so that I could actually get to know them enough to care for them. Other than that, I think it was interesting. I wouldn't say that I would not recommend it, but this is definitely not where I would start when it comes to Stephen King. It's just too much. For the love of Stephen King, I think it was really interesting to read. I think that it was well done in so many ways, but it also faltered a bit. I was expecting more. I was. And I haven't read anything by Owen King. I do want to, just because I want to see how his writing falls when it comes to this family, because I do really love Joe Hill's writing, his other son, and you know how I feel about Stephen King and his writing. So it would be interesting to see how Owen King writes on his own. So I will definitely check that out. But for now, when it comes to this story, I didn't love it. I'm sorry. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either. It falls just in between here. It was an interesting premise and a good story, but it didn't grab a hold of me. I didn't get really emotionally involved in the story. I was just curious to find out, like, how is this gonna end up and how are they gonna tie it all together in the end? I also felt like it wasn't really tied up that well in the end. There were a lot of questions I had that wasn't answered that I wish were, but I just think it's a bit sad because I think it could have been so much better. I think it had such a great potential to be an awesome story and an epic book, but it just didn't really end up there for me. Like I said, I still don't really know how I feel about this. That's the reason why I haven't even given it a star rating on Goodreads yet, because I don't really know. It falls in between somewhere. I'm thinking I will probably end up giving it a 3.5 maybe. Enjoyable. I didn't get bored, but I just didn't get invested either. Now, like I said, I've been watching a lot of reviews of this book before I made my own now, just to see what other people think of it. If you're curious about this, I would say go get it. Make up your own mind about it, because you could easily be one of those who really loves it, because a lot of people do. I think maybe I'm falling in between a bit because I'm so biased. I love Stephen King's writing so much that I constantly look for things in his books. I overanalyze them to a point where it's almost a bit OCD. And maybe that is the reason why I can't be as objective when reviewing his books as I am with other authors' books. I'm not sure. Could be that. So I think that's going to conclude my very confused and weird review of Sleeping Beauties. It's a weird book. It's getting a weird review. I'm sorry. It's not my best moment right here, but I just have a really hard time trying to wrap my head around what I think about this book. But like I said, so many love it. Some people hate it. Make up your own mind about it. If you love Stephen King's writing, I think you're definitely going to enjoy the writing style in this. It flows very nicely. It is an interesting story. But for me, it fell a bit in between. Now I'm going to give you the opportunity to make up your own mind about this book. I'm doing a giveaway. For this giveaway, you have to be subscribed to this channel. You have to leave a comment down below. You can write pretty much anything. As long as it's a comment, then you're in. You also have to be eligible for free shipping via Bookdepository because that's where I'm going to ship it off from. I'm not sure if all of the UK hardback editions have the limited edition cover illustrations on them, but it is going to be one of the UK editions just because I think it's so much prettier than the US edition. That's pretty much it. So who's it gonna be? I'm gonna leave this open throughout the month of October, and then we're gonna choose the winner on November 1st. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below so you will be in the giveaway. Good luck, and I will see you in my next video soon. Goodbye!